You're standing in the kitchen with a bank app open, staring at a recurring transfer you're about to set up. $100. Just $100 a week, sitting there waiting for you to hit confirm. Your thumb hovers. It feels too small to matter and too big to spare, both at once, and your chest tightens a little at the thought of losing it from the weekly budget. If you've ever hovered over that button, you're in the right place, because that tiny, uncomfortable number might be doing more heavy lifting than you think.
Where most people find the $100 without noticing, the next question is always the same. Where does it come from? Services Australia and Consumer Finance surveys both suggest the average Aussie household underestimates weekly discretionary spending. Takeaway coffee, subscriptions, the extra Bunnings trip for something you didn't quite need, by around $80 to $120 a week. Most people assume they don't have $100 spare. They're wrong. It's rarely an income problem. It's a noticing problem. Track 1 week properly. Every Uber Eats order, every impulse Kmart run, and the $100 usually reveals itself, hiding in plain sight. The power of starting early versus starting properly. Here's the part nobody explains. Timing beats amount, almost every time. Say 2 people both aim to retire at 65. One starts the $100 a week plan at 25. The other waits until 45, feeling like they need to get serious first, then throws in double, $200 a week to catch up. At a 7% average return, the 25-year-old ends up with roughly $1.06 million by 65. The 45-year-old, even doubling their contribution, ends up with around $410,000. Let that land. The early starter put in less money overall and still ended up with more than double. This is what compound growth actually does. It's not a bonus, it's the entire engine. Most people picture retirement saving as a sprint near the finish line. It's not. It's a slow-cooked casserole you start decades before anyone's hungry. What this means for you, if you're in your 20s or 30s reading this, you don't need a bigger number. You need to start the smaller one today.
Where the $100 actually goes and why that matters. The next myth is about where this money should sit. A lot of people assume saving for retirement means a savings account. This is the trap. A standard savings account earning 4 to 5% interest gets taxed at your marginal rate every year, and inflation quietly eats a chunk of the rest. Super, on the other hand, is taxed at just 15% on contributions and earnings inside the fund, well under most people's income tax rate, which is exactly why ASFA and most financial educators point people towards salary sacrificing or after-tax super contributions for exactly this kind of weekly plan. Picture your $100 going in through payroll before you even see it, the same way your gym direct debit disappears without a fight. Over 30 years, that tax difference alone can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Money that never left your pocket in the first place.
What this actually looks like on a real income? Let's ground this in a real scenario. Say you're on the median Aussie income, around $75,000 a year. $100 a week is roughly 7% of your take-home pay. That's not nothing, but it's also not the fortnightly grocery shop at Kohl's disappearing overnight. Most people assume a plan like this requires sacrificing the stuff that makes life feel livable. The coffee, the Friday night takeaway, the odd weekend away. This is the trap again. In practice, most people who commit to the $100 a week plan find it inside subscriptions they forgot they had, or by trimming the grocery bill with a bit more home cooking and a bit less Uber Eats. It's rarely the fun stuff that goes. It's the invisible leaks. What this means for you, you can likely start this today, this week, without your lifestyle looking any different from the outside. What happens if life gets in the way? Here's the honest bit. Most people don't contribute perfectly for 30 or 40 straight years. Centrelink and industry fund data both show contribution patterns are lumpy. People pause during parental leave, during job changes,
During the years, money's just tight. That's normal. That's not failure. Even if you only manage the $100 a week plan for 20 out of 30 working years, you're still looking at several $100,000 extra by retirement compared to doing nothing at all. The plan doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be mostly there.
So here's the real question underneath all of it. It was never about finding a spare $500,000. It was about finding a spare $100. Remember that hand hovering over the transfer button in the kitchen? That hesitation was never really about the money. It was about believing something that small could matter that much. It can. Breathe out. You don't need to solve retirement today. You just need to start it. If this made that $100 click into place for you, if it just went from feeling too small to feeling like the exact right place to start, hit like on this one. Not for me, honestly. It helps this video reach the next person standing in their kitchen, thumb hovering over that same transfer button, wondering if it's worth it. Before you go, here's the only homework. Open your banking app tonight and just look. Not change anything, not commit to anything. Just look at where $100 a week might already be hiding in your spending. That's it. That's the whole ask. See you in the next one.